What your HubSpot pipeline report doesn't tell you about your own sales data will absolutely shock you. Welcome to HubSpot Mentors. My name is Semi and I'm here with Richie.
What's up, Semi? How's it going, man?
Good, man. Good. It's been a couple weeks for us.
It has, hasn't it? Yeah, boy.
And we're gonna a juicy one today because it's all about your pipeline reporting and how that kind of works in everything, right? So
everyone's favorite topic, isn't it? Like managers love these topics. I want to build dashboards and have my reports, but I think they forget a crucial thing, that stuff needs to happen before their magical little wish list of reports can even come up in the first place.
100%. Like you need the data to report on first, right? And if your pipeline isn't clean, it just doesn't work for you, right? So why your pipeline reports is lying to you?
I think you pretty much said it already, right? I think it's definitely great whenever you want to start thinking about reporting. I think it's great to have a North Star metric, because what reports essentially is a bunch of wish list items that managers or your team leads wants to mark against with their teams, right? So it's great to definitely have that as a big picture stuff. But before you even go down into the nitty gritty of that, the data needs to exist first, right?
Yeah.
And then that starts with the, I guess, quote unquote implementation team, your teams itself interacting with HubSpot, and whether or not HubSpot is the place where they work off on a day-to-day basis, and they're even capturing the information in the first place.
Yeah, 100%. This is where they operate from a day-to-day basis. And like, it's like, the thing is, like, every leader wants to just pull up a number or metrics or be able to see everything in one go to see how everything is tracking. But they haven't really defined all that information beforehand, or even requested someone to actually pull in the data in the right spot, right? So then how can you report on something when there's no reports? And so allowing you to have some form of, or a leader to have some form of involvement, this could be a sales leader, this could be the CEO, whichever department you're in, having some form of involvement in the build of a CRM, to then really define what they're looking for, allows everyone a win-win situation. We can give you the reports that you might need. The sales team knows what to report on, what key information they need to capture, and then the leader then gets the report that they need, right?
Absolutely. And I think we also kind of, I definitely agree that we tend to, I guess, oversimplify things, but also there are times where when we meet up with clients, there's even a lack of internal definitions on how they measure certain things. And let me give you an example. What is the difference between the close date and, for example, the actual project start date? Okay, because for example, right, you're construction, you signed you close off the contract and the deal is closed on the 1st of January. I have to keep things simple. But then the project actually starts on the 1st of May. So the reports are telling you that it's done on the 1st of January, but actually in whatever definitions internally, it's actually started off on the 1st of May. So which number is that? And if you were to retrospectively go back and say, okay, show me all the projects that started in this past quarter, well, then that's how your reports would be lying to you, because that's an incorrect date in the first place. But it starts with an internal definition internally of what that means.
Yeah, it's simply put, you're just reporting on the wrong thing, right? You're going, my car has 4 wheels, but you're looking at the engine.
If my grandmother had a bike,
100%.
If my grandmother had a wheel, she would have been a bike.
100%, exactly. So it's like a close date and amounts, and is all related to projections and when the delivery is expected to actually close. Like, that's the whole point of having those metrics in place, versus like contract start date or project start date. They're like completely focused on the delivery side of stuff. When do you expect the delivery team to start? So again, really important having these definitions ironed out with someone that knows what they're doing, specifically in HubSpot, so that they can customize those approaches. Because whoever's been working in HubSpot very clearly would know all your basic HubSpot reporting that would typically get out of sales dashboards is focused around close dates and amounts, right? Deal names, like one of those ones, right? So yeah, I see this all in, day out. And then that's the reason why your reports are lying to you, because you're not reporting the right things. And if you are, 100%. You have to build a whole bunch of stuff to then get the same stuff. So just fix the definitions and then your reports will get fixed, right?
I think making use of a lot of the HubSpot I think a lot of people don't know how many properties that actually come out of the box with HubSpot. And one of those things are actually the timestamps, the date entered. So the HubSpot has got a few default timestamped properties on the deal pipeline. So what was it, Semi? It was date entered,
date exit, yep,
cumulative
and
time, latest date. Yeah. So we won't go into
and
that.
then the stage name.
Yes, per stage as well.
Per stage.
So we won't go into those definitions. But what I really do like is that I'm thinking that if we find a way, if management can articulate this, and as we as HubSpot partners can actually empower the team leaders to showcase in the report and tell the team that these fields exist, that we're actually capturing it based on the actual movement itself, we can actually kind of nudge the team to tell them that, hey, look, we're watching these things, so please do your job, and to actually move the deal accordingly as well, because that's what we're going to be basing it off of. So for example, I closed the deal on Monday, right? But I didn't update the CRM until like Thursday. Well, that's 4 days that went by, and then the dates are wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So that kind of, if we articulate that as a measurement of what we're doing, that kind of would feed into their conscious as well.
Yeah, 100%. And you're right. Like, and people treat, pipeline stages as like a standard project. That's why it's called a stage in HubSpot, because it affects 5 different properties when you do one action, right? Everything's like linked together, so you can get the reporting that you want. If you want to look at the conversion report on a close date, sorry, mate, you can't get that. It's only one property that says date, close date, right? But if you want to see how long it takes from, discovery meeting booked till close date, you can do that because you've got those dates entered and exited, and you got the cumulative times, and you got the days till close, and you got all these fancy,
that's right,
reports that a HubSpot calculating in the back end. It comes.
That's exactly the right point, because you just reminded me as well. It's like that conversion report in terms of the days will not be accurate again unless the team buys into the whole act of treating HubSpot as the main source of where they're working off from, and actually move things accordingly. Because even 1 day can throw off the entire report. Yeah,
adoption is very important.
Man, it's crazy, man. Underrated, bro.
Yeah, and it's like they want to drive adoption without the team using. So I want to report, but I don't want the team to use it.
Or the team has a knowledge gap. They don't want to use it. They don't like it or whatever.
Yeah, because what they do is they say, again, these are some things that if you want someone to use it, you have to give them incentive to use it. So, for example, when a lead comes in and then you say to it, again, we're weaving off the topic, but it's a really important point. If a lead comes into HubSpot and you say, you've got a new lead, and send them a marketing email out to, or like internal email notification out to the person to tell them they've got a new lead, but in that email, you include the first name, last name, phone number, email address. What's the salesperson going to do? Open up their inbox, read the email, copy the email,
and
reply.
Good point.
And then reply, right? And so they just replied, and then you gotta tell them to then log the email, log the activity and stuff, and then be able to do instead of doing all that, all you need to say is you have a new lead, little arrow, right? Check below, click on the link below. And what does it do? It takes it to your CRM, and they're forced to look at all the details around about that person in their CRM.
Bro, this is great. This is like a whole debate, because I do that. I do the first bit, but now that you mention it, that's actually a very good point. What are we doing when we are showcasing a particular alert? What kind of behavior are we signaling to the person? So that's a very good point, man.
Yeah. 100%. So it's like driving those adoptions to then get you to report on it. Another good example is if some key properties are really important, is having those information available in your pipeline as conditional logic to then prompt the team to fill those requirements out before they progress is a game changer.
Yeah.
100%. Right? If someone wants to not do anything and only do that stuff is super key. Yeah. Right?
I think also at the very, very top of our deal pipelines, there are metrics as well, right? So Semi, if you could, I guess, surface, because now you can customize it, right? Before, I believe you couldn't customize that whole area. If you could surface certain metrics on the deal, what would those be at the very top? I think one thing I can think of is definitely the average duration of a deal being alive. What's that one called? It's
days to close.
Yeah, days to close. That one's a pretty good one.
Yeah,
days to close.
Yeah. Last activity date. I like using last activity date. Just reports on how long someone has not been active in there. I like to use deal tags in them. But again, these are all the stuff that it gets recorded in HubSpot on the back end of stuff. So I guess the question is, if you have brand new to the portal, like, and you're trying to figure out what that would, just run it for a few weeks and just see what information is captured by HubSpot by going to HubSpot's view all properties stuff, and then filtering it by like what information was filled. That will give you a really high level overview of what information is there. Then just stay a little bit curious and go into a Google and just type in HubSpot default deal properties, and they'll give you a list of definitions of what they are. So you can then use that to build the reports that you might want, right? Again, we're getting more technical right now, but in terms of like vanity metrics and sales dashboards and stuff, like there's a lot out there, and it all depends on the type of business you're operating to get the exact information that you would want. Does that answer your question?
No, 100%, man, 100%. Now, the one thing that I do wanted to mention as well is that the poor admin or ops person that is running around between the different departments just to get them to update their deals. I think that they kind of it's the whole idea that reporting is in fact a team sport and it's not an individual level. I mean, it starts from the individual, of course, but really it takes everyone to play ball in order for management to get the reports that they need in the first place.
Yeah, one of the things that I like doing, again, just from experience, is like showcasing the poor behavior in a few settings.
Yeah.
Number one is if someone hasn't done something, you got like different levels of notification, right? So like you can tag someone through like internal notifications. They'll just send an email note. You can then task someone to do an action. Again, I'll give you super specific, right? We said close dates is really important. If a close date passes the current date, then that means that date needs to get updated because you haven't touched that date for a long time. If you don't put a notification around it, again, there's different levels, then someone might not know to do that. If you don't have a deal tag, someone might not know to do that, right? So you do those little style actions, right? Then it goes up a little bit further up. Then you can go on a customer view record level. You can create a view that says deals that have past due date, and then use a filter to then showcase that. Then you can go up one level higher, which is like you can create a report that says deals that need to be reviewed in a dashboard, and then have a report showcasing that. And then the task will be on your sales manager to go, hey, every week, Bob, you need to fix your close date.
I was just gonna say it's like a name and shame thing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%, right?
Yeah.
Because we've given you like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels of escalations to get to the point where you get to name and shame someone.
Yeah.
For who? For your benefit, for the business's benefit. They're like, these guys are feeding you money, right?
Yeah.
Like they're putting food, they're giving you some opportunities so that you can do the work that you've been prescribed to do, right? So it's only fair that they expect some form of like expectation from you. And if your manager keeps pulling you up every week on why you haven't updated your due date for one specific project, then either there's another conversation the sales manager might need to have. Now we're pivoting towards out of HubSpot, but towards more business management stuff. Yeah. But these are stuff that you can build out so that your dashboards don't lie to you.
100%, man. I appreciate it.
Is there anything that you can add into that?
No, I just really like the idea. I saw it on LinkedIn somewhere where I think people were able to, I think this is completely custom, but they actually put the profile pictures of each rep. And then you're right, it's like, basically there's a report on like errors, and the person who has the most errors is like, bro, like what are you doing? Everybody else is clean. Everybody else is keeping their CRM in check. But it's funny, man. We've been through like hundreds of portals now. There's always in every team, there's always this one guy or two guys.
Yeah.
They just simply refuse to update the CRM. And that's like, again, outside of
100%. The other use case is like HubSpot does have, in reports. And when I had my business, I used to have this as well. I used to have like a spare screen where like I would log in, right? And then I will go to a dashboard and I will go like a full page view. So the screen will contain like all the reports in one view, right? And then in there I would have like, you can then have that report up to say, hey, this person hasn't done an action around whatever. It was like, John, please follow up this. You know what I mean? Like it'll be like follow up this or something. So the moment they walk into the office, if you're in a physical office, you'll first see, right? Obviously, if it's really applicable for those businesses like construction, like the industries that does require a lot of follow-ups, or high value deals that people tend to forget. And I always get this pushback from clients. I don't know if it's for you as well, which is, Semi, this client, I don't need to, like, it's such a long-term deal that I don't, like, the due date's going to go past, everything else is going to go past. So yeah, it is what it is. Our life cycle, our deal cycle is so long, right? Yeah, great. But that doesn't mean you should not touch base with this person and record that conversation, right? Like, just be honest with you. Like, if you're saying to me that this deal's going to take 1 whole year, and I'm not going to speak to this person in a whole year, then just close the deal and tell yourself to remind yourself, put a task for yourself to make a new one, right? So it shouldn't be there. But if a deal is inside a deal pipeline, the next action of that deal should always be placed so that you get reminded to take the action, or you have a follow-up that you need to do with that person. It's super important.
100%, man. I think we need to remind the team here that we need to reinforce this idea that better reporting starts first with better inputs, not necessarily a more complicated, a more nuanced, or a more custom-built dashboard template.
Yeah, 100%. One more thing I want to add to this. I know we're kind of going over some cool reports and stuff. And if you're on a sales pro, and your team is utilizing the HubSpot tools like close dates and utilizing amounts and all the information the right way, and you want to protect that stuff and you want to see everything, the sales analytics section, or sales suite, has such a good, valuable reports that you can just filter based on a whole bunch of information, are valuable for you from the start. You don't have to pull your hair out trying to do a whole bunch of stuff. The other thing that you can utilize is, which is getting even better and better, is HubSpot's AI Breeze Assistant to build the reports that you might need. And the chances are, if the reports are not coming out correct, you might have a data problem, right? Because it only tells you based on the information that or the prompt that you're putting in, or information you can find. So if you can't find the information, or your prompt is not coming in, then that means that you're asking something that doesn't exist, which means you need to go back. And the other thing is, there's a lot of help within HubSpot anyway, right? Even with the help icon, you can go through that, custom chats and stuff. Plenty of resources there you can utilize for setting up your sales reports so that your dashboards aren't lying to you.
100%. Last reminder here, I guess, is to remember that fixing your data hygiene is, in fact, really a team habit. It starts from the top, establishing what the North Star metrics are, get everyone's buy-in, and then slowly, week on week, day by day, nudge all the information to come to the right place. You guys can do it. Guys, go ahead and look through your own dashboards, look through your own reports, point out any reports that you think are lying to you. Let us know down below, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much, Sammy.
Bye.
Take care, man.